All right, welcome to another Real Estate Rockstars with Rick. I'm here again with Adam from Agent Marketers. Adam, thanks for coming on board.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Uh, last call we had, you shared a ton of great tips and strategies for YouTube, and I
Yep.
believe today we're going to dive into Instagram.
That's right. That's right.
And,
Yeah,
and
with
from what I
with agent
recall, like,
marketers,
I'm
with
sorry, go
agent
ahead.
marketers, no man, we talk about so much. We do so many different things. And we believe that you can't just go all in on one social media platform. It's better to be kind of well-rounded and to have that omni-channel presence, right?
Yeah, what I was going to say was, I was as impressive as I was with your YouTube, your Instagram is like even better. I don't know how you managed to make a platform better than you do on YouTube because your YouTube is freaking amazing. But you've
Yeah.
done some really cool stuff on Instagram that like I've copied some of your posts because it's obviously moving the needle for you. But I mean, I've even reached out to you to ask you how you do things, this or that. But let's just kind of take a step back. 2025 starts. The
Yep.
goal today is kind of give realtors tips and help them with their Instagram. What are you seeing most realtors having the most challenges with in Instagram?
Yeah, man. So, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So the direction I'm going to help with today and some of the things and the tips that we're going to dive into, it's not the only way out there, right? But, what I'm seeing a lot of realtors doing, and, to be fair, when I was studying, how do I want to do Instagram? How do I want to launch my channel? Which, by the way, I launched it in December going into January of last year. So it's 1 year old at this point with over 50,000 followers. Everything's organic. We don't boost posts. We don't pay for that stuff.
Only
But
1 year old?
It's 1 year old. Yeah. So
That's
you got to
amazing.
think we got a
53,000
lot.
followers.
Yeah, we got a lot of potential here, and I'm excited about what I can do in a whole nother year with a little bit more reps under my belt and more of efficient processes and things like that. But what I'm seeing realtors do, and it was the same thing with YouTube, is people are putting just sold, just listed, what's the market doing now, kind of the boring stuff. And I hate to say it, but that's kind of giving yourself a pat in the back. Nothing wrong with that. And yes, you're going to show people that you're a realtor, but why not come from a place of value? We talked about that back with YouTube. It's like, if you can give value, if you can be a resource for not only locals, your past sphere of influence, your past clients, but then also maybe even attract a bigger, throw a bigger net out there, get relocation into your area, get outside of what you can normally reach. That's what social media is about, right? If you can do that, you're going to have success. So I just think that a lot of realtors are trying to like almost brand themselves like, hey, I sold another house. And you've got these companies, not to dive into certain brokerages, but like Compass, for example, it's really known for marketing. They give a lot of marketing to their agents, but they're giving you basic templates that everybody uses, and it's the same stuff. So I just feel like be a little creative. If you're going to do social media, do social media. Be social, interact with people. You can't just have an automatic post it and forget it. Stuff's not going to work.
No, what I really like about your Instagram channel, I mean, very similar to your YouTube channel, it's almost like
Yep.
you're the mayor of Tampa. Like
Yep.
you are informing the public on all things Tampa Bay. So like if I were going to move to Tampa, I'd want to work with you because you know everything going on.
Yeah, man. What's funny is like you said mayor, and we've actually interviewed the mayor on our channel on YouTube and
Sure,
on
yeah.
Instagram. And from that, the ex-mayor actually reached out and he's like, man, I kind of want to do a video with you talking about how we got here. And I want to talk about all the developers I worked with, from Bill Gates to Jeff Vinnick, the old owner of the Lightning, and how they created our Riverwalk and all these new developments, and really give his version and some extra insight that I haven't given. So I think it's cool that you're like, hey, you're the mayor, but I almost feel like I'm more the hype man, right? I don't want to be the mayor. I want to be the hype man. I want to be the guy that's always pumping it up, always excited, about my city growing. And I want to share that with everybody. So, yeah.
And
So
you're doing a great job at it.
I'm trying. But yeah, I mean, let's definitely dive into some of it. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to share?
Let's say for those agents, and I think probably the bulk of realtors right now, like don't know where to start. So for those who know where to start, like let's start there. What would you tell them? I mean, obviously, like working with a company like Agent Marketers is the cheat code to get you there faster. But sometimes, like I'm sure even Agent Marketers can help somebody go further if they're already like at second base.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, I am a realtor. I have a real estate team in Tampa, Florida, right? We actively do all this within our business. And that's how it started. I was basically you guys. I was anybody watching this or reading this. I was a standard realtor, had zero camera presence, had zero, I'm not the techie guy, right? I can barely use Google Maps, but essentially you dive into it and you make it part of your craft, and you focus and you end up dominating it when that becomes a big part of your business. That being said, I try to keep things very simple for myself. I try to I'm a big believer in prepping and doing your homework, which is why I was like, oh, let me study different channels I like. It's not like I invented this stuff. It's like, let me look within real estate and let me look outside of real estate and kind of get my vibe. Once you have that, then just kind of focus on, okay, 3 or 4 different topics or columns of categories of keywords that you want to focus on. So like when we talked about YouTube, we talked about different supporting columns. For example, mine was like living in Tampa, moving to Tampa, and Tampa real estate in the neighborhoods. Same thing with Instagram, though. It's kind of like I want to talk about events, things to do, new restaurants, breaking news when it comes to new developments around the city. And then, of course, I kind of sprinkle in real estate because we are realtors, right? I don't want to forget about that important part. But my focus with Instagram kind of was very different. It was more focused on locals. And I don't know, man, I focused on it differently. Like I'm not going to go and put restaurants on YouTube. It just wasn't the plan. This one is more of like in the community, right? Liking the small coffee shops and the small restaurants and the small businesses. And the beauty is with Instagram, you can collaborate with them. You can reach their audience too. We can't really do that on YouTube the same way. It's
Right.
not built that way. So, but taking it back to basics, like you said, man, a cell phone and Canva is about all you need. I used to use CapCut, but I know that's kind of tricky right now.
Wait,
So
you edit your videos through Canva?
I'm editing through Canva, 95% of it.
Wow.
And then your cell phone goes a long way. Obviously, I have a camera and some things, but half the time it's a camera, cell phone on the go, and it's like, oh man, let's go do this. So yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
I did like a little Google on ChatGPT. Actually, a little Google. I did a little question on ChatGPT. I asked, what are the most common questions why realtors don't fully use Instagram? And
Yeah.
the number one response, and like as soon as I printed it out, I'm like, yep, I've heard that. I've heard that. I've heard that. A lot of agents say they don't have time.
Yeah.
Now, from what I know about you, you're a top producer, you have a family, you have kids, you're out in the community. I'm sure you don't have time either, but you somehow find a way. So let's talk about how do you do that?
Yeah. So you got to think about it, as a realtor, everybody has prospecting of some sort, because I focus on this as like, hey, this is a big leg of my marketing. So either you're mailing to expireds, you're door knocking, you're holding open houses, everything takes time. But being that this is a big focus, right, for me, I carve out Mondays. Mondays are my Instagram days. So I have my morning meetings with my team. And then Mondays, it's myself and an editor, even though I still do majority of it. And for practically the first year, it was all me. Mondays is my day. So I prep like end of the week. I just kind of type in on a literally a Google spreadsheet or Google worksheet. It's that simple. The topics that I want, leaving maybe 1 or 2 open spots for any breaking news that I want to put on there. And every single day I have a post or a reel or a carousel. Okay. Every single day, never miss a day in the entire year. But once a day, it's as simple as that. And I say simple because I plan it out, put my ideas on a paper, whether it be collabs or whatever it is. And then it's like Monday, let's go. And I start with Tuesday, since Monday we're meeting, but I start with Tuesday through Monday is my week. And I'm doing it cranking it out, all of it out on Monday.
So you mentioned you'll either make a reel, a post, or a carousel.
Yep.
Like why not all reels? Why do you mix it up?
Yeah, so when I started Instagram, it was kind of like reels are for reach, right? Reels are going to get you that exposure to the big audience, and I still believe that, right? People love reels. You can do more with it, whether it's like, and there's strategy there too, right? 7-second reels is kind of gimmicky. You're going to build a nice caption out. Sometimes you're delivering a nice message in 30 seconds, where maybe you're talking on film or showing something good on film. And then sometimes I even like talking articles, right? Which we can always show, where you just find an article and you green screen it, which you have access with that in your cell phone, and you green screen it and you just talk about it, give your opinion. Like, hey, I just posted one, Governor DeSantis is thinking about getting rid of property taxes in Florida. What do you guys think about this?
Terrible
on one hand,
idea.
I think one thing I think it's great, because who wants to pay those taxes? The other thing is like, well, wait a minute, where's it going to come from now? So
Disney.
I want to hear from you, good or bad, because it's all about engagement. And
I want Ron to go after Disney to make up for those taxes. I'm kidding.
Something, right? I mean, I don't doubt if it's not going to be, legalizing marijuana next, or I know that we just had gambling. We had the Hard Rock legal sports gambling in Florida now. So things like that. But either way, it's those topics that you could throw out and you ask for that engagement. You ask for the opinions, and man, people love to give their opinion. But that was Reels. Reels were for reach. Now that I've built an audience, and it's kind of like sometimes it's the first one out the gate, time wise. Like if 5 other big channels post about the breaking news about that property tax in Florida, well, I'm the 6th, 7th one. It's not news anymore. They're like, okay, it was great, but I missed. All those people gave their opinions already. So when I need that quick, let me put it out there. It takes 10 minutes to get this thing ready. I've got templates ready, and I find an article and I just post a picture, slide it in there, write a quick caption, and done. So sometimes you need that quick post. Sometimes you have a reel where you actually give a little bit more value. And, sometimes you can use other things, like carousels are actually doing really well right now, which is a string of posts or, pictures or reels put together. And I like to use that for lead magnets in a way. So, we talked about that earlier, Rick, where one of them I put together that was really good was the holidays. It was like, hey, here's a holiday guide in Tampa. And it talked about the best coffee shops, the big events coming up, just everything there. And I basically said, I gave them a little chunk of it. And I said, hey, if you want the full guide, comment this. And I set up an autoresponder to basically, send them the full package. Meanwhile, I'm also saying, hey, along the way, if you like this kind of stuff, sign up for our newsletter. And now I'm building more of an audience that I can continue to market to, sprinkling in real estate, right?
Now the newsletters, you're sending those out every month?
So, Ricky Carruth? You ever heard of Ricky Carruth?
Yes, I have. That guy's amazing.
Yeah, so I was having a drink with Ricky down in Miami, and at one of the conferences that we were at. And, we were talking about newsletters, and that was a big leg of what he does. And he's like, man, how's your newsletter look? And I was like, oh, I got this monthly one that, is talking about, the More John Group, your Tampa Living, whatever, August newsletter. And he's like, dude, get rid of that. Think of it like a headline. Make your newsletter a headline, and I'm going to give you a trick. Put one emoji at the front. So being Florida, we put a palm tree. And when you're looking at that ocean of emails, like the couple hundred emails that, are in your inbox, that one stands out every single time. And it stands out, and it's like, oh, that's right. That's the More John Group. That's Tampa, Florida Living. So I always do that. Put a catchy headline, kind of like you're watching the news, like, whatever that catchy headline is. And then I do a weekly newsletter. So instead of monthly, I chopped it up into 4 sections, and I put it in there as a weekly email.
It's brilliant. So in your weekly newsletter, how are you writing that? Like, do you have like a tool that writes that for you that you're sending out?
So right now, we do it manually. Yes, you can use ChatGPT. You can do a lot of those automated things, but we keep it real simple and sweet. What I like to do, and the whole thing that we teach agent marketers, is like repurposing your content, getting it out there. So yes, we talked about YouTube. Now we're talking about Instagram. In the future, we'll talk about podcasts and more creation of content. But once you have all those, now put that into a newsletter, right? So if you think about it this way, I've got 4 weeks. Usually number 1 is going to be the beginning of the month, and we're going to send it out, and it's going to cover the entire month of things to do in Tampa. Then, maybe there's events, festivals. Then number 2 is going to be, highlighting a new area or a new community, or maybe an old one that we just did a deep dive in YouTube and did a long video, and we're going to embed that video in the email. And then people don't always want to watch it. They want like 4 or 5 highlights. So it's like, hey, new community came to this area. It's got 5 builders, got this, price points are here. If you want to learn more about it, watch the video, and always a call to action. Then the next week, it might be Instagram stuff that had just been, maybe one of those lead magnets, those holiday guides that we want to give folks. And then the last one, we always cap it off with the stats for the month and what's going on new in real estate. So, and who's coming into that ecosystem? Well, it's old clients, it's current clients thinking of moving here. And then it's everybody else that just are locals that we've brought in with these lead magnets that I'm sprinkling in real estate. I'm becoming a resource. I'm giving you the things to do if you live here. I'm talking about the new developments. And when I interviewed the mayor, I definitely threw that one in there. Like, hey guys, I'm interviewing the mayor. Y'all need to listen to this. Like things like that. I'm giving them value. I'm not shoving real estate down their throat. I'm giving that as an option, but I'm also giving them other value.
And I like that value, right? Because I think now more than ever, we all need to provide value to our referral sources. As a realtor, as a lender, as an attorney, like now more than ever, we all got to bring value in some way. And you're doing it like in multiple prongs, not only with the content, but then with the ability to sign up for that newsletter, they can get that value from you every week or once a month. And I imagine that newsletter component is kind of like your way of following up with your leads. It allows you to stay in front of them consistently and sticky.
It's your drip, man. It's a drip campaign instead of those good old. Remember we talked about those
BS emails
that realtors like. It's not like the just sold email, no, man. It's actual content that they want. And you're, like you said, the local mayor. I'm the local hype guy, right? That's really just pushing out that stuff in Tampa and tell you what's the lifestyle like here, right? All while I'm also giving them really good content. And I'll tell you what, it makes you a better realtor when you do all of this content. I mean, to be able to
know your market better.
Yeah, but I mean, to talk about that when somebody's like, man, I'm not from here. I want to know about this area. Why should I move there? Or what should I know, good or bad? I can literally just go. It's on the top of my head because I'm constantly researching everything from the expansion of our infrastructure to developments and just fun stuff. Like, when they visit, hey, you have an itinerary? Can you give me some things? Oh yeah, check out my Instagram. I just posted everything this weekend. Like how good is that when somebody's coming in town and they want to look at homes? It's like, well, hold on, let's not look at just homes. Let me build this out for you, give you a feel of what it's like living here. I'm going to sell you and you're not going to want to leave.
Right.
No,
I see it and I love it. And I try to replicate it. You do such a good job, but now I know why. You showed me off the call how you have those templates, which let's I guess it's a good time. Let's kind of give some insight and show some of the page and show some examples of what you're talking about.
Yeah. So to be fair, I told you a little bit over a year, one a day, right? Every now and then, if I find something that's really good, I'm like, 2 a day. So it might be just over that, but 53,000. We typically grow. Oops, sorry about that. We typically grow by about.
Dude, I've had 700 posts, and I only have 5,000 followers.
Yep. And here's something that's pretty interesting. I only follow 360. I could probably even cut that down and then add back to it. But I think I told you in the past, like who you want to follow makes sense too. I don't want to follow individuals unless they're like the mayor. I wanted to follow, small businesses. I'm supporting locals. And why? Because they've already built up a following, like the best local coffee shop, right? We're not talking Starbucks, the local coffee shop. They have such a local, like 30,000 on their followers, 10,000 on their followers, but they're all local. You're not going to follow a coffee shop if you're from, Georgia. So I want to follow them and get access to their clients as well when I market. But going down this, and you can see right here in my bio, your guide to living in Tampa, #1 real estate, news, food, and more, right? It's not just real estate, right? But as you go down here, remember I was talking about those columns, like the different topics, and I like to mix it in. So like right here, I just did a typical new construction reel. That was today. Yesterday, I did best Tampa food festivals for the spring. And then there's that good old post about no more property taxes in Florida, right? Every Thursday, I do things to do this weekend, every Thursday. And then I go back to Tampa Bay school ratings. Why school ratings? Because families are moving here and they want to know that. And the Florida Department of Education just released the school rankings for all of Florida. And I was like, well, shit, I better give that to somebody. So I think that was really good. As you keep going down, a new bill, this is more like real estate, right? New bill would crack down on corporations buying homes. That's a big thing that we always talk about. Like that eats up those $300,000 to $500,000 homes for kind of that middle class, you know? And then switch it up. Michelin Guide. Now I'm talking about all the Michelin Guide coming out with the restaurants. It actually just expanded past Tampa to our next two cities. And so I'm just shooting all that. So you're constantly giving them variety and everything from like news that we want to know about that affects us locally to new parks to, you know, national championship coming back. Hey, it's strawberry season. Like you went like real hard, real detailed for those folks. And then, oh, fluffy and fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any questions on any of these right here that would help, you know, your viewers?
I don't have any questions per se. You know, I talk to all the time. I'm trying to think of a question a realtor might have.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of, here's the one that people always ask me, do you really get, you know, messages? Do you get different things? And not to throw my messages on blast, but, you know, I get everything from this guy's coming in, wants to know like the different places to, where was it? This guy, I think, was asking me, yeah, he's looking to move, you know, what areas can he move to in this area? Let me go back to this real quick. I just had somebody reach out. Here you go. This guy, hey, would love to connect you about the home in Zephyr Hills. Remember, I just posted that reel today. This was at 10:30. Absolutely.
Wow.
How can we help? What's a good number to contact you? He gave me his phone number. Sorry, I'm blacking that out. Just looking to purchase or build within the next 12 months or so. We live in Midtown currently, which is local, right? So now I'm going to call that guy, and that's a pure lead that just came in from this post right here that I just posted this morning.
That's incredible.
You do get direct leads, and then sometimes you get things that are like, hey, it's not just about new leads anymore. It's I want to kind of service and nurture that 50,000 that I got here. They came on for a reason. It wasn't just for new homes, right?
But from what I'm saying, your strategy is you're posting more than just homes. You're posting, you know, obviously you mentioned it, but the food, things to do. Here's what's going on in the area. Do you find those other, like everything kind of plays off one another to build that massive recruiting funnel? I'm sorry, not recruiting, lead gen funnel.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think it's you know, sometimes you got to go light and fluffy, and people like that. Like, you know, places I take friends when I want them to fall in love with Tampa, right? And we put this reel up, and this was just a simple one. It's like for a meal, visit this
Brisket
beach.
shop.
What's up?
I saw brisket shop. I'm in for that.
Yeah, brisket shop, man. Coffee. And then what's great is that you got to tag those places, and you get them to collab, and they're like, oh man, thanks for tagging me, right?
Do you usually tag them, or do you add them as a collaborator?
So it depends, right? Collaborating, you have to kind of reach out to them ahead of time, and that works really well too. But you know, sometimes it's just tagging them, and they're like, oh, thanks, you know. I'm trying to get down here. I'll show you one. This was an example of a guide. We have a big season, Gasparilla season. It's you know, I put together this entire guide that I was going to send out to my database anyway. And it was like, hey, here's January, February, March, what to expect, right? Here's everything you need to know about the kids parade, the Gasparilla parade, the map, Gasparilla Fest. But I stopped at January. I didn't give them February and March, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, comment Gasparilla 2025 for the full guide. And if you look at all the comments, right? Some people just talk regular, but if you talk about all the comments, it's going to send a ton. And those are people that come into my ecosystem from that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, let's see here. So give you an example. This was one that, this was a Hotel Florida. And that's an old, you could tell the building. It's an old building that, it's a historic building that was bought out by Hilton. And they just did a $30 million renovation on it. And they wanted to kind of blast it out. And they wanted influencers, right? That's what they're calling us now, to basically help them push it out. So they invited us to stay at their hotel. This is right in downtown. It's probably $500 a night plus. And wow. They gave me a suite. They also have a restaurant downstairs called the Dan that kind of like an upscale, nice restaurant downtown. And they wanted me to do a reel. So they said, hey, you could stay here for 2 nights. If you can do 2 nights for dinner, 2 nights for breakfast, it's on us. And I was like, all right. Now, I don't want to just do that. But because it's a historic hotel in our downtown, I wanted to put a story together, right? So the story was I stayed there. We had the Christmas tree lighting in downtown from the mayor. So my daughter and I walked down there. We got to see that. But what I was showcasing was our walkability in downtown, our older buildings getting renovated, and I'm highlighting two different places, right? Now you asked me about the collab right up here where it says two others. Here's my channel, here's the Dan, and here's Hotel Floor.
Smart.
Right? So I collabed with two different businesses in that one. And I shot this with my cell phone. So this one I had from an old drone. But everything else,
cool.
this is my cell phone right here, okay? As I stayed there, I went ahead, it was all dressed up for Christmas. You could see the old key drop mail slot, that old historic vibe that it's still going. But then they were like, oh, they put us up in a basic suite. I said, oh, look, they even put my name on the screen. And then we went downstairs to their restaurant. The chef came out, you know, hooked us up with some drinks. You could see my daughter took my place, my wife's place. And yeah, basically just gave them a nice spotlight. And at the very, very end, you'll see we took a picture with the mayor because we did walk all the way down there, and that was part of the story, right?
That's
so
awesome.
Again, all this was cell phone, man. I didn't have any like awesome
you
camera.
don't need high-end equipment. Yeah, just people can just use your cell phone. You don't need...
Yep, here's the coffee shop downstairs.
And you didn't really talk on this either, so you don't really need high-end mics.
So I did talk, and I'll tell you how that one worked out.
Okay.
Yep. So hold on a second. At the very end here, I'll show you. So here's the downtown tree lighting. Oh, I have the picture, so I had it somewhere else. But what I did was I created I got the timing of it. I went back home, and now that I've experienced it and I kind of laid it out, because I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I haven't gone there yet. I didn't experience it. So I experienced it. And then instead of talking on camera, I did a voiceover. So what I did was I wrote a script based around the same time frame, like 40 seconds. And I wrote it down. It's like, so our trip started by going to downtown Hotel Floor, and how amazing the renovation was. They gave us a suite, and man, this was great. I had a perfect shot of downtown. Then we went downstairs to check it out, and it was decked out with Christmas decor, right? I'm doing all that. But we started to work up an appetite. So we went to Hotel Floor for dinner, and man, the appetizers were on point. I tried oysters. I tried the fried green tomatoes. We had this, and they had some holiday themed drinks. So then you just kind of give that reel, and I match it up to the B-roll, and then voila.
Dude, it looks amazing.
So
now those type videos probably take a little bit more time for a realtor to edit and make, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that takes a little bit more time to string all that together because you're doing it. But I didn't start out with doing those kind of videos. That's something that I've gradually grown into.
You've grown into, right? Yeah, and that's where
some of the easiest videos are like this. Every month I do median home prices in Tampa. It's a 7-second reel, and I look up on the MLS and I pull the median home price, and that's it, right? But look at this, 115,000 views every single month. I don't know why, but it gets it, right? 99 followers. So I got 100 followers from that. And then when you're talking about,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I've seen you post that several times, median incomes in Tampa. How often do you make that? Now, it's been different background, different B-roll. How often would you say you make that post? Once a month, once a quarter, once a week?
I do the median once a month.
Okay.
Yep. End of the month, like 28th, 29th, I kind of get all the data from that month and I post it.
Awesome.
Yep. And then like now I'm doing more posts than anything. And I showed you, I have a template. All I do is change the background in a few words. And then I really fill everything out in the caption of like, hey, I want to know about this, right? This post right here, I posted it 2 days ago, is up to 54,000 views.
Wow.
And it's had 1,900 shares, meaning it's going around.
Shares. How many follows did you get off of this?
So far, 37, but I've noticed but these grow though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me give an example when they grow, right? I'm going to go down to one. All it was a new hospital that came up in my, John Hopkins has opened up a new hospital in one of our suburbs, right? 265,000 views. It took me 5 minutes to come up with this post.
Oh my gosh.
And I got 139 followers from it. You know what I mean? Like, this is all organic. And you could see right here, the views came most 92% from non-followers. But that's how you grow your channel. And by the way, it's actual like development news. It's like, oh, just announced for 2025, they're building a pediatric hospital in a suburb that needs it. It's like, okay.
So did you see that like on, did you Google news in Atlanta or what's coming new? I'm sorry, not Tampa, what's coming new to Tampa. And that's how you found that?
Yeah. So what I do is, remember back in the day, newspapers were a big thing. You have your cup of coffee in the morning, you read the newspaper. It's kind of like that, but now everything's digital. So I have a bookmark of about 10 to 15 different publications, I guess, online. So for example, the Tampa Bay Business Journal, a couple of our local news, like one of them might be more development focused. The next one might be more things to do focused or events. And then of course, real estate. And I just scan those for like quick headlines. And, every now and then I try to pull one or two of them out and I read the ones that make sense for where I'm at, what needs to come up next. And if something really catches my eye, like the no Florida, I know people are going to talk about it. So I'm like, I got to post it quick,
Yeah. Yeah. Like as I'm watching you, I am thinking to myself of things I need to be doing in Atlanta. Like I'm thinking to myself, my wheels are turning as I'm listening to you. It's hard for me to like come up with more questions. I'm like, my wheels are turning of ideas of all the things going on in Atlanta I should be sharing. So this is great.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I hate to say it, but it's like your general stuff, like the perfect place to grab a coffee. This is a great coffee shop, again, with my cell phone. That's literally cell phone. You can kind of tell because it's a little bit shaky. And I was there meeting a client. I was like, you know what? As soon as they left, I was like, let me just go upstairs, grab 3 or 4 different clips. I tagged them in it. They have 2 companies, a tea and a coffee spot. And it was just a great place to highlight a local place. I got 12,000. This isn't going to be that massively viral, one, but it served my followers and it got a couple of new people. So it's just awesome. A great local one. That's it. You're coming. Sometimes it's real estate. Sometimes it's local business. And then other times it's like breaking news of infrastructure or new deals or something that's going to affect us as residents,
Right.
Yeah, man.
That's really neat. So those watching, go follow your local market websites, follow your local market news source, bookmark them, and check in on them every day. Now, you said that you like to make your videos on a Monday. If something happens in the news on Wednesday, you just put that to make it on Monday the following week?
No, I mean, it depends, right? Is it something that's going to be evergreen? Like I can talk about, I don't need to be breaking news. Like, is it a new development? It's like a new, not development, but like a new community that just had its grand opening. There's not a ton of people that are going to be, that I'm competing with that's going to break that news. That could last till Monday. But
gotcha. So it just kind of depends what that news is if you're going to be competing against people.
Correct. It's like,
so Feds drop rates today.
It depends how much. If you're talking game changer, I might drop that pretty good. But no, I don't know. And again, there's different ways you could do that. Like, is it going to be too dry to be like, Feds dropped rates? Are you buying a home in Tampa? I think it could be like a perfect way to, just say, is now the right time to buy a home? Right. And you could say, and that could be a talking reel. Like I would actually put that as an article. So let me go back to how I would do
the blue screen background where you talk about it.
Yep. So, let's see here. New Florida laws could affect, I pressed the wrong button. You could see right here. I mean, I'm wearing a Bucks hat. I was literally at a hotel, not even in Tampa. And then I saw this article come out and I was like, oh, that's a good one. I have my phone, like your earplugs for your cell phone. And I was recording this on my phone and I just, green screened it, but it came out and it says 9 new Florida laws effective as of January 1st. And it was like banning social media for kids under 14. Like there could be fines if you had accounts like that, right? Certain things with first responders, and then, it was just a bunch of stuff. But anyway, all I did was pull it behind me and was like, oh, let me talk about this. And those are screenshots that you just put in Canva. And then after a certain point, you go to the next screenshot. That's all it is. What I like about that.
For my background, I use CapCut. but use Canva, which is probably a better option. I just use Canva because it's all I knew, but I imagine yours is probably a much better option.
I mean, either one works. You could like, honestly, could the quality be a little bit better? Sure. It's not like great. It's not horrible. This is done in Canva, that little animation, by the way. But
oh, that's nice.
What I liked about it is like, this was like a breaking news. They just broke renderings that the Riverwalk is going to expand to the west side of the river. And I was like, let me talk about that. So right away, I read the article. I got 2 or 3 different pictures lined up. And I was like, guys, the Riverwalk is headed west, but there's some, and there's some positives and negatives. And I want to hear your thoughts, right? Positives, we're going to expand, connecting a bunch of different communities. 12 plus miles to the Riverwalk. It's going to give more walkability in front of Tampa. The negative, it barely passed, and city council was actually pushing back because they had to take $10 million of the budget from another community to add to this. And I know that there's a couple potholes out there that are driving you guys nuts that we wish we could fill up. So potholes or the Riverwalk, and some people are calling it a vanity, not a need. What are your thoughts? So you see what I mean? Like, it's the same thing with what you just said with mortgage rates drop. Well, mortgage rates drop. My question is now the right time? All you guys that have been on the sidelines for years and years, is now the right time? Or is insurance rates and everything else, are those still holding you back? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts and any questions you might have,
Yeah, what I love about, if you watch your videos and watch you present, even now, like as you're talking about it, like you spend a lot of time, I'm sure you spend, but like you're very knowledgeable about the topic. Like you're extremely knowledgeable about the topic, as if you wrote the article. And that to me is very impressive, because it's hard to like be that knowledgeable on topics and make videos on it and then be so natural about it, right? Do you ever use like a teleprompter or a script sometimes?
I have used teleprompters. On some of these like this, I don't, like if it's a quick one. When I told you what about writing a script, like for that the hotel reel, then yes, I will write a teleprompter, because I'm gonna like literally read it word for word and make it interesting and engaging, and it needs to match the B-roll, right? But for something like this, like an article talk, no, I don't have a teleprompter. I'm reading it and I'm digesting. Like, you don't have to know word for word. I'm not memorizing. It's like, you're going to read it. You're going to remember maybe 2 or 3 quick facts. And then you're going to switch gears to, I need opinions, or I need to give an opinion. Then I want your opinion. You don't have to agree with me, because remember, social media, it's about getting engagement. It's a response. It's pulling something
it's better if they disagree with you, right? Because then they're going to comment. And
well, what's funny is I'm almost always, like, the first hour that I post, I'm always really good about answering back. And then it gets to a certain point where, I mean, you saw, it's like 1,000 comments. I'm like, let it ride. And what it is that you've got to split. You've got like 50 people on the 50% on this side, 50% on that side. And they're kind of answering or battling each other. And like, only when it gets real nasty is I'll hide a comment. But other than that, I just let it roll. And I think that's great for what Instagram wants, It's
going to create your engagement. It's going to help your algorithm. It's going to get you in front of more people. And that's
it, man.
And like, what I like is you're creating your post to create comments, create engagements by saying comment below for this, comment below for that. And like, that is clearly a differentiator in generating leads through this platform. I think, from my perspective, a lot of realtors, loan officers that want to get business on these social media platforms, they just post and like never check in, never engage, never comment with anybody, never comment in other people's stories and post. And like, I see this like any other business model. If you're going to cold call, if you're going to door knock, if you're going to whatever it is, like you can't half-ass it. You got to do it all. And I think like for those watching that pay this far, like, you can do it on your own, but partnering up with someone like yourself and agent marketers, like, you can get the cheat code to go from 0 to 50,000 in less than a year. And you probably master it now. You probably get there in like less than 9 months.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely do it faster now. And there's never it's never perfect, but no question. I mean, we've coached people. Right now I'm coaching a guy in Red Deer, Alberta. It's like right in between Calgary and Edmonton, small little area, and he's crushing it. Because you got to think, small town, like, some people are like, oh, you're in Tampa, it's easy. He's in a small town, and he's like, Adam, I got no competition, man. We don't have anybody doing Instagram in Red Deer, But to go back to
not. Do they even have hi-fi internet out there?
Well, you got to think though, and like, here's the deal, right? Like Tampa, yeah, I got a lot of things. It's like a playground here, like with as far as how many things we have to do. But he came to me like questioning, like, I don't know about this, and he does YouTube and Instagram with me as far as our coaching. But it's funny because he's like, "What do I have to offer?" And I'm like, "Okay, were you born and raised in Red Deer?" He's like, "No." Okay, well, so why did you move there? And he's like, "Well, honestly, I just wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle. I didn't want that, big city vibe anymore. I mean, I come out here, I can go fishing at the lake. We've got mountains nearby. We're only an hour and a half away from each of those major cities. And I mean, that's why most people live here." And I'm like, "That's your story. You just said it, dude. You said why everybody wants to live there." So the beauty is that you don't have competition. So like his Instagram reels are very different, right? Mine might be like, go to the game, these festivals, like all hyped up. His are the opposite. It's like, if you want to get away from this, you could be, by morning, I think we did a reel that took off. It was like, by morning, this could be your morning, and it was fishing, quiet, sun's coming up, and this could be your evening. And it was like only an hour away, and he was at a hockey game, which obviously Canada, it's huge. And it was like, whoa, where's that at? It's like you can have the best of both worlds. That's kind of the concept. And so, you got to think local coffee shops there, like he is the guy that puts them on the spot, So he's kind of like his Yelp for his entire area. So big city, small town, it doesn't matter. The stuff works. You just got to give value.
Yeah. And, one of the things I think is important as we're wrapping this call up, I think having a coach in anything you do is that cheat code to help you get to the next place. But like you as a coach, and you and I have got to know each other over the weeks, I think one of the things that you're really good at in helping others grow their business is like helping them see further than what they're seeing. So it's almost like my social media strategy, or most social media strategies, is like this. And I'm telling you, like, the challenges I have, and you just help me open my eyes to see more based on what I'm just telling you. Like, you're not telling me what to do. You're not telling me how to do it. I mean, you might be giving me the framework or the strategy, but you're just talking to me and helping me elaborate on what I'm already doing and doing what I'm already doing in social media. And I just love that.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand it. And that's how we coach is I want to teach you, and I want you to understand why we're doing something or why you should be doing something. And then let's talk about your goals, and let's align it with the content you're putting out, because not everybody wants to sell 200 million. Some people are like, if I sold 10 million and I just was kind of medium the road, then that's where I want to be. And I think that's great. So our coaching goes a long way. There's a million different ways to do it, but no question, it all starts with value and understanding, because there are cheat codes, man. That guy, Red Deer, and I'll keep it right here because I know you got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Red Deer, he was marketing and doing great videos. He didn't realize that when people type in Red Deer, they're getting videos of an actual red deer, like an animal. You got to put in Red Deer, Alberta, man. It's a different vibe. And now his channel took off, but very niche down. So
and how long would it take him to figure that out if not having like a guide?
Dude, he was doing it for 6 months plus before that. And he's he's like, I never thought about that. He's competing with animals, with National Geographic,
dude. And they've been around a lot longer.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for coming on. We're going to do another one, right? On another topic coming up soon.
Yeah, man, I'm going to get you with an AI guy to show how to automate some of this stuff and just automate just real estate in general. I want to get in here, talk about, we have that full blueprint. So it's not just YouTube. I love, just think about this, YouTube, and then you get that and you transcript it. You get the transcript and you turn it into a blog and then embed that video, right? And then you go and you do an Instagram, and then you put that in your newsletters, the content, and then a podcast to talk about stuff that is really hard to get B-roll from, like your updates, and even bigger than that. Like some of these, I did a podcast with the mayor. That's where I pulled that from. So now you're getting all of these content and you're putting it into newsletters and things for your audience, all while building up your Google presence. Because people are like, is this guy for real? Am I going to call him? Oh, Amazon effect. He's got 1,000 Google reviews. He must be good. So you're doing all of this. You're getting that omni-channel presence, and then you're just crushing it. And good luck if another realtor in your area is going to keep up.
Yeah, great advice, because they're not. So awesome job. Well, look forward to the next call. Thanks again, Adam, for coming. And until next time, everyone, go crush it.
Yeah, man.